the one hack that will literally change jiu-jitsu for you. If you add what we're going to talk about today to your weekly routine, you are going to be a better competitor. If you're a competitor that suffers from competition anxiety, you will stop at least losing to competition anxiety. You'll probably always have competition anxiety. If you are a hobbyist that struggles to, what you would say, flip the switch when they want to start training, to really feel good about, if a situation came up, I can really just turn my jiu-jitsu on at full speed and be able to do it, whether in a self-defense situation, whether if I'm a police officer and I'm needing to apprehend somebody, but to just be able to perform on command. And this is one hack. This isn't 10 hacks. This isn't 3 deep concepts. This is one simple hack that if you do, it is going to absolutely change jiu-jitsu for you. Let me tell you a story. About 4 years ago, I was teaching at a camp. It was called the Stronghold Camp, and it was in Wisconsin. And it was with Chewy from the YouTube, and it was with my my buddy Mark Vibez. And if you don't know Mark, he's been on the podcast a few different times. Super, super cool story. But the most unique thing about Mark is how often he competes. And at that time, I remember Bryce and I were driving to Wisconsin. It was like 5 hours for us. And on the way, we're talking about, like, one, hey, why did I get invited to this camp to teach with these really cool guys? Like, I don't think that at the time I felt worthy to be there. So I was looking at it from the perspective of, what do you think we're going to get to learn at this camp? And one of the biggest things that I remember saying was, on the way out there, I go, I want to know how Mark competes every weekend. And that was the term that I used. And Mark, like, I would say, I think that year probably competed like 32, 33 times in the calendar year. And so pretty much every weekend, this dude's competing. And so, like, I wonder how he does that. I'm trying to compete. And as a 20-something-year-old, I am struggling to compete 5 times a year, 6 times a year. My body just seems to not be able to handle it. Why is it that he can do it and seem totally fine? And so that was what I wanted to know. And so he and I went into this these seminars. We're teaching. We're all, Mark, Chewy, and I are getting to conversate about all kinds of things. And one of the nights that we're there, I ask Mark, hey, how do you compete every weekend? And Mark says, exactly, I compete every weekend. And I said, yes, that's what I'm asking you. How do you compete every weekend? And he's like, yes, that's what I'm telling you, that's my answer. I compete every weekend. And I'm like, dang it, Mark, can you just give me a serious answer, a direct answer for once? I know Asian culture dictates that you have to make everything hard on me, the younger Asian guy. But here's the thing. We're homies. You could just give me the answer. And he's like, no, Josh, you're not understanding. I am giving you the answer. He goes, people ask me this a lot. And my answer is that I compete every weekend, meaning every Saturday, whether I am at New Breed in Chicago, the gym that he owns, shout out New Breed, or whether I am in Atlanta competing, whether I'm wherever competing, I compete on Saturday. And he said, so if I'm at home at New Breed, I get 6 guys, 7 guys. That's the max number of matches that I would have in a day. And I tell them, hey, we're going to perform today. We're going to go live from the feet today. This, 6, me and the 5, 6 of us, however many. And he said, I can even dictate my training on if I like to have a guy, if I have a guy that's going to play lasso against me in a few weeks, in my training room on Saturdays, I go with guys who I think will probably play lasso on me. And so I'm getting those reps, but I'm getting them like in really pretending I'm in a competition, really trying to win. And I'm like, and you just do that once a week, and that's your that's the secret. And he's like, yeah, I just compete every weekend. And he's like, because if you think about it, and then that's when we started to talk about all kinds of different avenues of looking at, and I've told you guys this before, Mark looked a lot at the NFL and trying to deconstruct what they do for their athletes, because their athletes perform once a week and their games are very, very do or die, in the same way that jiu-jitsu matches are, that if you make one mistake, you lose. But then on top of that, if you lose a game, you're out, right? Like if you're in the playoffs in the NFL and you lose a game, that's done. There's not series at all. There's no way to get back. And that is very much how most jiu-jitsu tournaments are too. So the ability to be able to perform on command becomes so much more important when you only have one chance. And that is what we dug into. And so that is what you and I are going to dig into today. There is so much depth to the performance day and so many mistakes that I've made experimenting with this that I'm going to share with you today. And I'm not exaggerating. If you listen to this episode, you implement this idea of a performance day, it will completely change jiu-jitsu for you. And in a positive and basically every way, it will even be able to give you a chance at training forever, like in training with some longevity. This is something that we do with all of our guys, or at least try to do with all of our guys, try to push towards all of our guys. And so, we'll go ahead and get into it.
I suck at jiu-jitsu. How do I suck less at jiu-jitsu?
I guess to suck less.
The diabolical leader of the Headlock Squad.
So here's what the performance day is, just to define it. 1 day a week, you are going to go in with the idea of, I am trying to win today. And this is an interesting part, is if you're trying to win today, that means that you're not always trying to win. And I think this is something that people struggle to understand. And this is where you lose a lot of people on this idea. So the problem with going in every single day of training with the mindset of performance mindset and learner's mindset typically are two different things. And so the learner goes in not really caring as much about how they perform that night, how many subs they got, or anything. They care about, do I have some type of metric that shows that I have gotten better? Whether that means they hit a bunch of submissions, and so whether they're going with their same training partners and they hit 4 or 5 more submissions than they normally would, like, oh, that's a really great metric. But for the person that focuses on performance, they are willing to sacrifice learning in order to try to win. They will say, well, it's just about submissions. And so I can lower the level of my training partner. I can, obviously avoid the tougher people in the room. I can go for things that people don't understand that I'm going with. So like if, for instance, I've been training for basically forever. I've been training for like 17 years. And so basically since the beginning of time. And so when I started training, there were just certain things that people didn't do in the jiu-jitsu space. And one of the main ones was like straight ankle locks. It was kind of this looked down upon thing. And there came a point where people realized, oh, that's silly. If it's a weakness, you should exploit it. But just like everything else, the pendulum tends to swing like past the middle and too far in the other direction too. And so you see that where you find a lot of people that find that they can hit a straight ankle lock on 50% of blue belts. And they go, because those blue belts just haven't learned how to defend them yet. And so they build their whole game around, well, this means winning. I can always beat this group of people by doing a straight ankle lock. But they never look at the fact that they're not hitting it on any of the people past that. They're hitting it on 5% of the purple belts. They're not hitting it on the brown belts or the black belts. And it's this thought of, am I going for something that I can build a game off of, right? Because again, it's not just trying to perform. Perform is just win tonight. And that's what we're going to mainly talk about today, is focus on just winning tonight. But to understand this, you have to understand that not every night can be a performance night. If it is, then that's just the training method that you're using, is trying to perform. And that training method is the least efficient training method. It's just the least efficient. I mean, I'm sure we could make fun of some other people's training method. I'm sure there's some other, but the training methods that are used currently, that is the least efficient one. And that is, I always tell you guys, this is why the model of training jiu-jitsu is built around steroid use, is because overtraining is built into how you do it. And one of the best ways to combat that overtraining is to take steroids. You recover between those training sessions. And so you are able to, you're able to do that. That is a way of training, but it's not the most efficient, and it's definitely not the best for longevity. Hey guys, Josh here. I've been getting so much good feedback from the Rob Bernanke Instructional Jiu-Jitsu for Imbeciles that we have been giving away for free. But I have bad news. We're about to switch the free giveaway from our friends at BJJ Mental Models. And so if you have not gotten Rob Bernanke's Jiu-Jitsu for Imbeciles, this is a conceptual course on learning jiu-jitsu, and the amount of feedback that people have felt the need to give me. I didn't create this course, but still, to tell me how much it has helped them has been so interesting. I mean, pretty quickly it made me go, oh, this is something that I should start to pay attention to even more than I realized. People love Rob Bernanke's way of explaining jiu-jitsu. And like I said, this is the last time we are running a commercial for this course. And so the next free giveaway is about to change in the coming weeks. But for right now, you can still get your free copy of Jiu-Jitsu for Imbeciles at bjjmentalmodels.com/I-suck. And be sure to check the link in the description and get in on that free course. Let's get back to the episode. And so this idea of separating performance, separating I want to win, and putting it to 1 day a week. And then also on top of that, there are so many people that you go with that could not, just in most gyms, they couldn't care less about beating you or you beating them. And so when you have that mentality that you're going to sacrifice both of your bodies to beat that person, it's really not even useful, because that person's not playing by those rules anyway. And so you're getting ready for a competition where you go, yeah, we're going to both attack this way, but you're going with somebody who doesn't give you that feedback at all, but you're going really hard on them. That, again, it just does not make sense. The thing that makes the most sense is to start to say, well, it's hard for anyone to get really good quality competitive rounds. And one of the best ways that we could start to do that and kind of guarantee that we're going to do that is by saying, well, I'm going to go with this guy who's really, really tough from the feet. And I always struggle to go with him. And so I have to pull guard, even though that's not my game plan, but I need to be able to fight a guy like that. I need to have what if I have a match like that? And so you're trying to set yourself up to have to perform, to have to kind of overcome obstacles. And again, with this mindset, the mindset of redefining winning really will make a difference for you. This is something that people will struggle with forever in their jiu-jitsu if they don't do it. But if you do it early, you'll never struggle with it, and you won't realize that everyone else does. Most people view winning in the context of them going into training as, did I submit my training partners, or did my training partners submit me? And if they submitted me, I had a bad night and I hate myself and I'm crying in the shower. But if I submitted them, I had a great night and I'm eating Cheetos Puffs in the shower. You guys do that too, right? I'm not the only person who does that when they submit people. But that whole mindset is just, it is not valuable for kind of like every day. the reason it's not valuable for every day is because half the time you're going to lose those days. Or you can just guarantee that you don't lose, and you can only train with people who are terrible, right? Only train with people who you can beat. And so this mentality, this is why I say it doesn't promote longevity. And it seems like it's like, oh no, I just like to roll. And that's what it's about. Like, yeah, you can just like to roll, but I'm not saying you need to drill, you need to do any of this other stuff. All I'm saying is when you roll, if you relegate your days of I'm really trying to win and I'm trying really hard, then you can actually show what going hard is. If you go hard every single day, your body naturally will start to go hard will be like 80% for you, and it won't be 100%. And again, these things don't translate well for competitors either. This is the problem, is winning in the gym does not translate to competing because there's so many other aspects of competition. When you relegate your day to a performance day, then you get nervous about that day because it is about winning on that day. All the other days are just about training and getting better. But that day, you're sure, I have to win today. If I don't win today, well, I mean, it's not a huge deal because I'll go back to the learner's mindset and I'll have great stuff to learn from. I'll have great stuff to deconstruct. I'll have great stuff to say, man, I just didn't perform well. And so I'll listen, to deep episodes of the I Suck at Jiu Jitsu show, and I'll start to master my performance. And so that is the beauty of the performance day, is it gives you this training room, this training ground that's still safe. That's not a real competition, but you can make it feel like one. You can play a game of pretend with your friends and make it feel like one, where you even keep score and you make it feel like, hey, we are in competition. And this is something, again, I think that hobbyists would be shocked how much they love this, because the truth is, yeah, we're just all there to learn and have fun, but we're also there to get better. And if you were in a situation where you had to use your jiu-jitsu, a situation you didn't want to be in, but you had to use your jiu-jitsu and it needed to come out at full speed and, like, let's say it was even life or death, could you do that? A lot of competitors, and this is always that argument of, competitors butt scoot and self-defense people don't. Like, dude, if you've been in the situation of competition where the nerves are really, really high and you still can perform, that is, I don't care if you performed barambolas in that competition, that is going to set you up for a fight so much better than just repetitively drilling body lock takedowns, right? And like, okay, then I'm just going to hold you and mount. Like, dude, what if that doesn't happen? Like, what if you're going with somebody that's just a little bit tough? Do you know how to deal with that? Do you know how to, in adversity, deal with somebody who knows how to resist? Well, one of the best ways to do that is to practice it, right? In the same way that we practice techniques, as if that is the only part of jiu-jitsu. We say, like, okay, here are the 3 techniques I'm showing you guys tonight. Now that you know these, everything's good. Everything's cool, guys. Just go and do them. Do them to everybody. No, it doesn't work like that. That's not how you get good. It takes so long to even get good at one move and to even, start to understand one idea a little bit. And so the idea that, you just collect a technique and you collect a technique and then that's how you get good, it doesn't work that way. You need to be able to perform those techniques. You're no different than the person who just watches online and says, well, I bought a bunch of John Danaher instructionals, so I understand jiu-jitsu. Like, I watched them, so I understand. I can repeat the language that he used right back to you. Like, nah, it doesn't matter if you haven't performed it. Because anytime we're using language, just like what I'm doing in this podcast, what we always do, anytime I'm using language to deconstruct jiu-jitsu, I am using language to deconstruct something that is physically happening. And so no matter how great my understanding is, it is not as, you can't understand it in the same way as feeling it. It is, you get way more unspoken by feeling in jiu-jitsu. And so it's this thought. I know I'm just way off the performance day idea, but it's just this thought for so many people that if you redefined winning, it would change jiu-jitsu for you. And one of the best ways to redefine it, because if you love jiu-jitsu, part of jiu-jitsu is competition. Part of jiu-jitsu is the nerves that you do when you try to perform it. Part of jiu-jitsu is the discouragement that you get when you get beat down. When we try to take these parts out of jiu-jitsu, it stops being jiu-jitsu, right? That's when like there's always this fear of, is jiu-jitsu ever going to be like shopping mall karate? Is it ever going to be that? And was it this? We have legends 40 years from now of like, yeah, jiu-jitsu used to be awesome. People used to be so tough. Gordon Ryan, dude, he used to be squishing people. And now it's just a bunch of katas because we removed that stuff from jiu-jitsu. It's like, you have to understand jiu-jitsu isn't just technique. It's so much more. And to really utilize that knowledge is to start to say, well, then I'm going to start to focus on specific parts of it and not say, well, people learning technique are stupid because you can't learn technique, and not say people drilling in that way or people training in that method are stupid because there's no science behind it. You understand that these could be just training separate parts of the whole part of jiu-jitsu, and that's what I'm trying to look at with redefining winning, is saying, hey, maybe on a lot of your nights, on your non-performance day, winning isn't winning at all. It's for you, you're focused on bottom side control escapes. So winning for you is allowing a guy to pass and you escaping bottom side control, and then allowing a guy to pass and you escaping bottom side control. That's a huge win for you. But in the grand scheme, that guy's like, dude, I beat you 6-0. You suck. I passed your guard. But for you, you don't care. You're like, I was trying to get better. I definitely got better at escaping side control. You are also thinking in terms of like, dude, you couldn't even hold me in side control. You got so close. You don't realize I let you. You couldn't even hold me down. And so, again, this mindset of redefining winning is where we have to start if we're going to implement performance days. So now that we have that, let's look at the actual performance day. Yo, so I got a new gi. It's really, really sick. Datsusara just sent me their fun gi number 2 and has a color stitching that I've never really seen before. It just, the gi looks really cool. The obviously whatever artist they had design it took special care on this, and just such a unique design. I have worn it twice now, and I have probably gotten 20 different comments on the gi. Everybody's like, hey, why is this shiny? Can I touch this? Can I put on your gi top? Can I choke you with this a little bit? And so it's definitely been the talk of the town. Only problem I had is I trained in it the other day. Jump in the car. It's like one of the last nice days of the year out. And so I got the windows down. Jump in the car, still gi on, still sweating. I got leather seats, no big deal. And I'm going to drive home. And on my way home, I ended up having to roll up the windows because women were literally just trying to jump in to the car because they were so impressed by this Datsusara gi. And so if that interests you, if being, the coolest looking person on the mat interests you, being in one of the most comfortable gis that there is interests you, be sure to check out Datsusara. Be sure to check out dsgear.com and use promo code I suck at checkout, and you'll get 10% off of your gi, your backpack, whatever you want from them. But be sure to check them out. So for me, when structuring my performance day, I like to think about it as how many, and this is something I got from Mark way back when I told you, how many days or how many matches am I going to have? How many matches am I going to have at this next tournament or this tournament I'm preparing for? And so a lot of times for me, when I'm doing my performance days, I think of them in 6-week camps, and I have a whole free handbook on 6-week camps called The Competitor's Journey. I'll tell you guys about that later. But the idea around it is I like to try to master something new or focus on something, really zone in on something that I'm working while I'm in camp for a competition or while I'm just quote unquote in camp. Sometimes I do these 6-week spurts where I have no competition after. I'm just trying to get in a little better shape. I'm trying to I have some hole in my game that I found. And I'm like, the best way for me to fix this hole is to fix it from a competitive attitude of like, hey, I'm competing this weekend and this is a hole in my game. And what if I'm fighting a guy that plays this? And so I set up a performance day where I try to get people that play whatever that is, or I try to put myself in the position that I've been struggling with, and I try to hit stuff. If it doesn't work the first performance day, that's okay. The whole next week is built around how do I set myself up for success in the next performance day? Because I'm going to try that same thing. I'm going to do a retake of, man, front headlock I sucked from this whole entire day. I was stuck there the whole entire day. Well, that means that I should be focused on front headlock. The questions that I ask should be around, hey, how do you get out of front headlock? I look around the room and I go, who do I struggle to hold in front headlock? What do they do? And I can ask them questions. And this idea then, it allows you to say, well, since one day is about performance, all other training days are simply about getting better at jiu-jitsu. Why? So I can perform the next time. And so that is, to me, the genius behind this is that you are able to remove all of the intensity that you would normally have in a jiu-jitsu round in a week of training, and then put that all into one specific day. And then again, you can manipulate that day however you want. And so that prevents so many injuries for me now, is not going so hard and not trying to perform the other days. Meaning, and this is my difference, and it's different for each person, and it's going to be different for where you're at. But for me, this is what the difference between a performance day for me looks like, and the difference between just what I would typically call a volume day. Usually, I am going in with the intention, if I'm going to train and I'm not trying to perform, I'm just trying to get reps of something. An idea or a move. And I may stay on the same thing volume days for months and months and months and just focus on getting those reps over and over and over. Even if it means that I'm passing up other submissions, even that it means I'm getting swept more, I'm getting passed more because I'm taking risks that I shouldn't. That's my idea of volume day. I'm not usually going, typically I don't go super hard ever, but I'm not going very hard on those days. I'm also thinking, to get the most reps, how can I set my training room up for that? Because there are certain training partners you go with that you go, this person is super easy to train with. They don't kill my body, and we could do 1,000 rounds, and I feel like I would get something out of every round. Well, those are the people you roll with on your volume days. Probably not the person that you roll with on your performance day, though, because typically those people's jiu-jitsu, like mine, is so lazy that it's kind of hard. It doesn't give you the right feel for most competitors. It's nice to know how that feels too, because some people are obnoxious like that. But those people that are good for volume days aren't always good for performance days. Usually your people for performance days are the people that you just kind of hate a little bit, not a lot. You don't want somebody you really hate on performance day, because what if they beat you? But, you just kind of hate it a little. You just kind of hate. It's not that you hate them. You hate losing to them, which valuable. That's valuable to have the right training partners. Now, you also can have some that are just equal to you, but your best friend in the world, but equal to you in skill, or just close enough that you can push each other. And that's really, even if one of you is better than the other, as long as you're close enough that you can score on each other or prevent each other from scoring, you can usually get a really great feel from a performance round from a training partner like this. For me, my best, for years and years and years, my best performance day training partner has been Nick Sanders. told you guys this a million times. But a lot of people call him Captain American Jiu Jitsu. And so, yeah, that's that Nick Sanders. But he is, I mean, yeah, I think since I was a brown belt has been just this crazy hard round for me. And I'll always tell you guys this part of it because I think this is the most valuable part of it is if I do something to him once, he will have a response for it the next time we roll, right? Because we don't train every single day, right? Usually we're just training with each other once a week or even every couple weeks. And so it feels like, for us, it feels like a performance round, right? And it's like, that is the thought process. We're both just trying to win the round, and we're both trying to win the round as technicians. We're not trying to win the round to see who has better jiu-jitsu. It's not about, can I implement what I want to implement? Nothing like that. It is for both of us. Can I take what is available to steal this win against this guy? Because that's how competition feels. And that's a big problem for most competitors when they start competing is they pull guard just like they planned it. They go collar, sleeve, foot, and hip. And then what happens, foot and hip, both feet go right next to your butt. Double ankle sweep, day one move, see you later. You knock the guy down, you go to get up. Well, this time, the guy does not stay down. He pops right back up, and not only that, you're halfway up, and he passes your guard off of it, and you lose in front of all of your friends and family. You're an embarrassment to your team, you're an embarrassment to your wife, and most importantly, you're an embarrassment to me, your coach. And when that happens, remember, it's happened to me too. It's how it be. You have to remember this. Competition is different than it is in the gym. And so that is the biggest value for competitors to have a performance day is we agree to keep score and to not accept things. Because in a competition, you hit a double ankle sweep, a guy will literally die. If you hit a double ankle sweep, if I go in a white belt division specifically, you get 2 white belts, slap bump. Guy pulls, double ankle sweep, butts both on the floor. If I looked at both of those guys and said, pause, if you give us your firstborn child and I guarantee you get the sweep, would you do it? They'd be like, yeah, no doubt. If you give us your life savings, but you guarantee that you get the sweep, would you do it? Both guys, no doubt. Absolutely. Right? Like, would you die for this sweep? Yes. No doubt. Absolutely. That's not how it is in the gym. People don't act that way in the gym. Generally in the gym, people go like, oh, you knocked me down. I'll play guard. Who cares? Points don't exist here. We're in the gym. That's the value of performance days. That's the value of having training partners where you agree to keep score, meaning you're trying to prevent the other person from scoring. Or the other side of it is maybe you're not trying to prevent the other person from scoring. Maybe he's trying to prevent you from scoring, and you're not used to how that feels. You have been put in smashed half guard, and your whole game from smash half guard is just like chill out and relax and be like, oh, you can't hurt me, I'm chill. Yeah, but the problem is you're not getting out either. And in the gym, no one cares. Like in the gym, they take a big risk, you usually get out. But in the competition, why would they take a risk? I'll just die here. I'll just hold you here forever. I am up by a penalty and smashed half guard. You're finished. You'll never escape this. And that is the mindset for most competitors. And I know that we all talk about, it's always the dudes who post about submission only too. They hit that first takedown and they start to gas really hard. They get the first squeeze of the guy's head and they're like, what if I just don't let this go? What if I wince enough and I don't let this go and I pretend to attack the arm a little? And so, yeah, when it comes to that, the performance day solves this. Taking your day where you say, okay, I'm going to do 6 rounds today. And also in a competition, and just in general, this is helpful. It's nice to take rests between, because in a competition, that's how it goes. You don't do 5 minutes and then a 30-second rest and then 5 minutes and a 30-second rest. We do this in the jiu-jitsu space, and it's helpful and it's good, and obviously it saves time. But competitors don't really do that in the actual situation, right? They don't do that in the match. So something that's really nice is to say, well, I'm going to do rounds 1, 3, 5, and 7. And I'm going to roll with this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. And you both know. And so you can even rest for your round and kind of mentally prepare for your round. And it gives you the mental anxiety of when you're in a competition and you're tired from your warm-up, you're tired from your second match, you're tired from whatever, and you're on the side and you have to just sit while tired and anxious and not wanting to go compete again. And you got to go compete against somebody who is tough, who's been thrashing everybody all day. And you go, how could I ever prepare for this moment? The performance day. That is how you prepare for those moments, is you put yourself in situations where your body, at least physically, you know, I can go really hard for 5 minutes against somebody tough and then wait 5 minutes, feel terrible, and then go hard again with somebody tough and be able to perform against somebody tough. And that's really all this is about. It's not called winning day. It's called performance day. You're trying to win, but it is about, can I perform at my best? If I perform at my best and I still lose, well, I suck. That's my problem. I can't do anything about that. I can't get better through being excited, through having the right mindset. This isn't a movie, I'm not going to have better skill from that. But I can take the skill that I have and use it to the best of my ability all at once to try to win. And that is what learning to perform actually is. That's what learning to perform actually feels like, is me saying I can just not worry about any of this other stuff today, in this moment, for this 5-minute round. I am trying to win this 5-minute round. And how that looks even more means in this 5-second exchange, in this 10-second exchange, I stay focused. I do everything I can to win. You would not believe how many matches and how many rounds in the gym you see lost because people lose focus. And it sounds, and like even for me, I've done this recently in tournaments. It's so easy to do. When you start to get tired, you start to panic, right? You start to like hyperventilate. You start to get into this mindset where basically and obviously I'm not a scientist. I don't know anything. I'm just guessing on all this stuff. The last 350 episodes, I hope you guys know, I'm just making this stuff up. I'm just feeling it out with you guys. But the jiu-jitsu mats are really gross if you really think about it. I try to not think about it. I've actually run into this problem of writing commercials for my friends at Sports Hygiene. It's so hard to write commercials because if I just really am honest with people and we all just sat for a second and we think about how gross the jiu-jitsu mats are, and just really, we marinate on that thought in the same way that we marinate on all of the body fluids of our friends. And then you hear about a product from Sports Hygiene. You hear about their product, Full Guard. And you hear about this idea of hypochlorous acid and how it can literally kill ringworm, it can kill staph, and it is good for your skin biome. And this idea that there is a spray that you could literally spray on in between rounds to protect your body from the grossness of the jiu-jitsu mats is unbelievable. And it just so happens that they love the I Suck at Jiu-Jitsu show and want to give a promo code to you guys, and that is promo code I Suck. And so at checkout, when you are getting your case of Full Guard to just douse your body in because of how gross the mats are, be sure to use promo code I Suck at checkout. Let's get back to the episode. In that mindset of like, you start to get this competition anxiety, things start to really go fast in your head. Something that happens is like, because I think you think you're dying, you start to go, am I okay? Am I going to be okay 5 minutes from now? Am I going to ever recover? Am I going to, and your mind starts to leave the moment, and you should have been hand fighting the collar choke and you lose. Because 3 seconds of not focus in a jiu-jitsu match against even a guy that sucks and I would lose. If I put in your closed guard both of my hands on the floor and you knew how to put a cross collar choke on, and I thought about whether or not I should, I don't know, whether or not I should get on TRT. We're going to do a TRT episode soon. But yeah, if I'm out there thinking about, man, this guy's strong. Should I get on TRT? Should I get on the juice? Oh, I'm sorry. I know it's not the juice. I know it's different, guys. I'm sorry. I know how you guys cry a lot that are on the TRT. Don't get mad at me. Stay out. I know that you guys cry a lot. Stay out of the comments. It's just a joke. That's not what I'm thinking about in a match. Usually I'm thinking about, man, this dude's obviously on and I'm dogging him. This dude's not on TRT. This dude's on everything and I'm dogging this guy. That's when my mindset's usually an arrogant loss of focus. But regardless, I put my hands on the mat for 3 seconds, dreaming about what TRT would be like. You go 1 grip, 2 grips, start to squeeze. Now I go to defend. You got it. I'm done. I lost focus for a second. I know that sounds weird, like, nobody would ever do that. What a silly joke. It happens all the time when you start to get tired, is your mind will do anything to get you out of that moment because it's going, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to die. We're so tired. Dude, you are not an athlete. You eat Taco Bell for dinner every night. We shouldn't be in this situation where you're having a 10-minute match against one of the best guys in the world. Like, this is not good. You are going to die. And in that situation, you don't respond. You don't talk back to your mind. You don't repeat your mantra. Nothing. You go collar grip, underhook, grab the guy, squeeze his head, collar grip, underhook, defend the choke. You just focus on the moment that you're in. You focus on the fight that you're in. You're not planning 3 steps ahead. You're not planning 5 steps ahead. You are learning to be in the moment because that is... I don't know how you're going to respond when I get an underhook. You could do 10 things. I feel confident that once I get there, that's what I needed. And so I'm going to respond however you respond, right? But I'm not going to see you respond. I'm not going to be able to plan ahead and go, he's probably going to do this when I underhook him. No, I just dig the underhook. I know it's right. I do in the moment what I think is best. That is performance. I'm not relinquishing anything though. I'm not letting you, I'm always taking from you, and I am trying to never let you take from me. This is something people don't understand about jiu-jitsu, is jiu-jitsu is a zero-sum game because it is me versus you, and that's how we play the sport, okay? Obviously, in the grand scheme of things, it's not. It is a community-based game when it's about us growing, but in the sense of an actual round, it's a zero-sum game, meaning that there is one pie, and if I take a piece of it, that is a piece that you can't have. Anything good for me is bad for you, and anything bad for me is good for you. And that is how this game of jiu-jitsu works. And so when we're actually in, honestly, whether we're in performance, whether we're not, we're just trying to do jiu-jitsu, the mindset should always be, how could I take a little bit more of the pie? Because if I just got a little bit more, that's more of the pie that he can't have. And eventually he's going to throw a fit. Eventually he's going to do something dumb and then I'm going to try to steal everything, right? And that's how you look at it, is you get good at taking little bits at a time. And when you're starting jiu-jitsu, you're going, what is he even talking about? I only know 4 moves. And it's like guard pass to side control, then side control to mount, and then mount to armbar. And like, well, right now, those are the 4 fights you know. Focus on those, right? But eventually, you start to see the guard pass for way more. That knee cut that you know, you go, man, well, I don't even get to the knee cut until I split the guy's legs. And so you start to get better at that. I don't even get the knee cut until I get chest over chest because I've watched Josh McKinney's free seminar titled The Greatest Guard Passing Seminar of All Time on YouTube completely for free. And it's honestly, it's not even my greatest guard passing seminar if I'm being totally honest with you guys, but it's a good seminar. And it gives this idea of distance and chest over chest. And now you know that that is part of this guard pass. So now you have 2 different fights that you can focus on. You can win incrementally. You're not just standing in a guy's guard anymore. You're going, well, if his legs aren't split, I'm going to split his legs because that will set me up for my knee cut. That'll set me up for my guard pass. If I can't split his legs, you'll start to find something new. That's how you get better at jiu-jitsu. The problem is, again, with this lack of focus that you get with people where they're just like, well, I'll just build a game around doing ignorant stuff. I'll just build a game around randomness. I will have no focus on anything for any period of time. And then they go, I don't know why I'm not getting better. That's your answer. It's because you're not trying. You're not trying to get better. You're trying to win. You're trying to show up. You're trying to use jiu-jitsu as this mindless thing, which is totally fine. And it's fun. And sometimes I do go into training with no intention of anything. I just have had a stressful day, week, whatever, and I need to do jiu-jitsu because I love jiu-jitsu. And so sometimes the focus would actually pull me away from that, right? Because remember, we're talking about how jiu-jitsu has all these little pieces that make it jiu-jitsu, and the mindlessness sometimes is our favorite piece. And so sometimes that's all I go and focus on. And I just go, today is not about getting better. It's not about performing. It is just about my mind. It's just about allowing me to feel good today and to enjoy the rest of my day, and to hopefully have a better perspective when I leave this place. And a lot of times it's just, for a lot of us, we go to the jiu-jitsu space and we always talk about how much we love jiu-jitsu. It's all about jiu-jitsu. It's the greatest thing. Come try American jiu-jitsu. Head Nod is doing a Black Friday deal where they're doing 45% off for year memberships, which is just absolutely ignorant. Link in the description. You hear people say things like that, and it's just always, come do American jiu-jitsu, come do American jiu-jitsu. But really what they're saying is, there's this really cool group of people. There's this really amazing community, and they all meet at 6 p.m. in Granite City. And it really didn't matter. They could have been playing Uno cards. They're just a cool group of people. They happen to be doing jiu-jitsu. They happen to be the premier American jiu-jitsu gym in the country. And so you see that and you go, well, maybe I should go join that community. And that's really what it's about for most of us. But one of the most valuable things you can do for your jiu-jitsu community is actually get better at jiu-jitsu and then share that with the people underneath you. Because if you're listening this deep into an episode about one hack to get good at jiu-jitsu, and I've barely even followed my notes slightly, it's just been the craziest episode ever. If you're this deep, it's because you want to get good at jiu-jitsu. And a lot of times you're doing everything you can. You're turning over every stone. Keep doing that. But the other thing you have to do is remember where you started and go, hey, I see myself in this guy. I see myself in this girl. I want to be helpful to them if they want to listen. Sometimes people don't care. They don't want to listen to you. That's cool too. But you go, well, I want to be able to help these people get better. And you share with them the idea of the performance day. Right? One of the best ways to have this metric of saying, am I getting better, is to just pick one day a week and say, this is the day where I'll see if I'm good. All the other days, I'll focus on getting good. I'm going to probably be discouraged, realize that I'm not good every performance day for a very long time, but it takes the pressure off all these other days of training too. It allows you to just show up to get better, and you know what to get better at because you know what is beating you with the performance days. And so before we end, I just wanted to say this. I gave you guys the information. Usually you'll give social proof earlier, and I should have. But for me, I started doing this when Mark and I talked about this. I think it was 2021. It might have been 2022. I could be crazy. It might have been 2023. Who knows? But it was at some point. No, it was definitely 2022. And so when I started to learn this idea from Mark and implement this idea, I immediately got result. Like, it helped me so much, specifically with competition anxiety, which I was at the time had trained for 13 years, had been a black belt for 2, and was competing, and just still to that, I had competed as a kid. I was competing every weekend. And as a kid, I didn't struggle with performance anxiety as much. And as I got older, it got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, which is so ignorant, because generally the remedy is just compete. And it wasn't fixing things for me. And as I started to dig deeper on how to understand performance anxiety, how to be able to kind of compete on command. I learned the methods that we talk about in the instructional Champion Stay Present. We have a 20% off coupon code HERO, HERO, if you go to Simplifying Jiu-Jitsu and check out Champion Stay Present. But I started to develop those ideas, started to learn those ideas from people, but I had this training room to go into once a week and see, like, with anxiety. I was going to, I told you guys about my friend Nick. I was going to Revive. Some people call it Revive BJJ. I don't know. I think it's Revive AJJ. I'm not totally sure. Hard for me to remember. But Nick and Junior are the two coaches there. Junior is a Brazilian. Don't hold it against him. One of the best Brazilians that I've ever met. And Nick is an American. Don't hold it against him. One of the best Americans that I've ever met. And those two guys run an awesome gym, but also they had this Friday open mat that I got to go to. And they were making sure it was a killer room. And it also wasn't my gym. I was taking like a 45-minute drive and feeling the anxiety of, man, I'm going to have to grapple like some of the toughest guys. I don't want to do this. I'm tired. I am scared. I don't want to. And I'm like, wait a second. Why am I having these thoughts towards training with my friends? And I go, oh, that's good. These are the thoughts that I have when I go compete. Now I get to learn to deal with them. Like I spoiled for you guys in the beginning, I still deal with the exact same competition anxiety. I still feel the nerves. I said this last week. I still feel the nerves when I watch anyone's tape, like before I'm going to compete against them, no matter who it is. Even if I've beaten them 1,000,000 times, still get nervous watching the tape. Feel tremendous anxiety watching the tape. I will get nerves the morning of. I'll get nerves the day before. And I'll have little bursts of nerves just the weeks leading up to competition, especially if it's been a while since I've competed. And the things that my brain will say to me when in the lead up to the matches is just like, you haven't trained enough. You're tired from your warm up because you're not in shape. And it's just always something negative. It's just never something like positive. And again, you brush that off. You focus on the moment. You focus on, and like I said, Champion Stay Present would give you guys, I don't want to get too deep into the idea of that. But when I started to learn to do that in this training room, it started to translate to me doing it in competition. And it translated to my biggest wins in competition. It's because I learned how to focus on what was in front of me, focus on the task at hand, and ignore everything else. Ignore that I was tired. Ignore that I was hurt. Ignore that I wasn't as good as this person. None of those things mattered. The only thing that mattered is, in this exact moment, can I continue to exchange? Can I continue to fight back? Can I continue to fight back? And that mindset of take a little bit away, stay in the moment, it came for me from these performance days, from getting to perform once a week. And so that is really what I want to challenge you guys to do. And I don't usually give you guys challenges, but I just know how effective this is for competitors. I know how effective this is for non-competitors. And so my challenge to you is, try to master a performance day. If this seems like a lot, try to do every 2 weeks. So do a bi-weekly performance day. Do not do more than once a week for a performance day. If you're a superhuman, maybe you could get away with 2, but I have found that one takes away from the other. The idea is of performing on command. Can I know my body well enough to be able to say, nah, I shouldn't train tonight because I have the competition this week, right? When it's a performance day in the gym, you don't worry about that as much. But if you know your body well, then in a competition week, a real competition week, you know how much you need to rest to be able to perform at 100% on your performance day. And that is like, as much as I'm giving general examples, the real world thing for me is just how much I have gotten out of learning about how I perform jiu-jitsu best and how my mindset works best. Because again, I have put myself, and I've done this for years now, in a single training room, a single time of week where I say, this is about winning. And then all the other days can just be about getting better, hitting the specific things that I want to be hitting and getting a ton of reps of them. So then why? I can utilize them on my performance day. I have more tools for my performance day to try to weasel out wins against people. And that's what we're doing on the performance day. Who cares about anything else? I don't care about if I got better at actual jiu-jitsu technique or not. I just care about, did I perform? And then I look at myself with, a broad lens and I say, oh, well, yeah, my jiu-jitsu looked pretty good, but my cardio was terrible. I gassed so hard. So maybe my volume days are a little more focused on, I need to be able to acknowledge pacing. I need to be able to go lighter at times and still keep winning, and then go harder at times and still keep winning, and being able to turn that off and on. You're able to deconstruct so much. And the beauty is, even if you go to your first few performance days and you're going, oh, well, I have 10 things to work. Now I know what to focus on and then I'll be great. By the time you get 3 in, if you did a new performance day, you would find 100 new things to work. And so the truth is, this is practice. This is something that I do every single week. Is once a week, I have a day that I'm going to go perform. It's not always at Revive anymore. I get the opportunity to train at all kinds of different places. I like them to not be at my school. I do them at my school because there are certain days that are just awesome to do them at my school. But I just also, that's where the ideas of what I should be focused on, what I should be working all the other days come from. And so these are, I told you guys not to overuse it because it causes horrific injury. And so don't do that. And then, really use this to know yourself and know your worth. That's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Like I said, if you are interested in these ideas or the ideas we talked about last week, the competitor's journey, this is a handbook. All it is 3 6-week training camps. One for if you could only dedicate 2 days a week to jiu-jitsu. One if you are pretty average with how much you can dedicate 3 to 5 days a week of jiu-jitsu. And one if you are training every day and focused as a coach or a professional. And this will help you be a competitor, but also this isn't just for competitors. I know I chose the competitor's handbook or the competitor's journey because it really is focused on competition, because it's focused on the performance day. The one thing that all 3 of the training camps have in common is that they have a performance day once a week. That is the standard training for me if you really want to get good. If that is what you want to do, whether you want to be a good competitor, you want to be good at whatever you're using jiu-jitsu for. If you want to be good, you choose a day of focus. You try to win. You just make sure I'm going to win. When you lose, when whatever happens, you deconstruct, and then you spend the next week focused on how do I get better for my next performance day. And this practice repetitively gets you so good at jiu-jitsu. And you can use it in combination with all those other things that we talk about all the time, master any position in 6 weeks and all these other methods that we use. But if you're just boiling it down to what one thing will give somebody focus that struggles with focus, it is choosing 1 day a week to focus on winning. That will show you the holes in your game, and then you can focus on those holes. And that's how you look at it. But if you're trying to win every single time, you're seeing thousands of different reasons that you're losing, and you will never focus on anything. And that's what I want to leave you guys with. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. My name is Josh McKinney. I'm an American Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I think I forgot to say that. I always forget to say that now that I moved the intro to the middle of the episode. I don't know. Do you guys like the intro thing in the middle of the episode? I feel like it's better for views for me to just jump in really aggressively. And so that's why I've been doing it. I don't know. If you guys don't like it, it's easier to just put the intro in the beginning. I don't know. We'll see. But besides that, I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I hope you do the performance day. I really, really hope that you sign up for my free handbook, The Competitor's Journey. But most importantly, the thing I hope the most is I hope today's episode helps you guys suck just a little bit less at jiu-jitsu. Have a great day, guys.